Good morning. This is just some thoughts, opinions. All right. I'm not an expert in anything. I'm not trying to give advice or convince you or trying to change your mind. Yesterday, I was listening to this debate. It was brief. I couldn't listen to the whole thing. It was these two old people debating Béchamp and Pasteur, the two chemists from the 19th century. They were going back and forward, back and forward. Béchamp was pretty much a prodigy in the pharmaceutical. He developed lots and lots of medicine. Pasteur, I don't know what he did, to be honest. I think he was snake oils salesman. That those types who was looking for the elixir of life and turning gold stuff into gold and stuff like that. I think he's one of those. Anyway, Pasteur was part of the elite. He had very powerful friends. That's why his ideas was accepted and not Béchamp. Anyway, I was listening and I remembered this case. This someone was saying, and it showed video of what they were saying. It was this person in what looked like Asia, possibly India. This very obese person was having issues with health, and a thing they couldn't do was drink water. And they were making the case that that person was suffering in bed, and he got up and he wanted to drink. Give me water, give me water. And they were saying the reason why he was in that state, it was because he got rabies. And when you are with rabies, you can't drink water. It will be a death sentence. And I was like, yeah, that's not what I think. I think he's having kidney issues. His kidneys are shutting down. Symptoms of that is paranoia, extreme inflammation, you know, dizziness, all sorts of, crazy stuff that happens. And you can't drink water because the kidneys don't work. When you drink, the kidneys immediately recycle and throw the excess out, right? If the kidneys are not working, you would drink and it would cause an extreme imbalance in the body that would cause everything to shut down, basically. So how do you go about this? You put some ice and you let the patient lick the ice, just a form of easing the symptoms and until you get the machine to do the dialysis. That's how you know do it. But in that country, whatever it was, he probably wasn't in an hospital and he probably didn't have the dialysis machine. So he was really, you know in a bad spot, and he was craving water, right? You can go without eating food for a long time, but water, in a couple of days, you're done. You're done. 2, 3 days, you're done. You can spend 30 days without food, but water, no. 2, 3 days and you're done. So someone who doesn't have kidneys working, it's a death sentence, pretty much. So I was just, saying that because a lot of people use this as an argument for rabies. My grandfather and my grandmother used to say, never let your dog without water. because farmers, they used to tie their pets, sometimes tie them so they wouldn't you know um, roam about, or and didn't do their task near the chickens, for instance. Why would they put them there on a leash near the chickens? So that the fox wouldn't get the chickens, right? But if you tie the animal on a leash, you have to give them water always. If the dog doesn't have water, it will go crazy. And that's what they called rabies. When a dog or a fox or an animal in the wild, you see them foaming and going crazy, they are thirsty. Yeah? It's not this mysterious bug. No. I mean, accidentally. These animals in the wild, they have lots of bacteria in their mouth. Yeah? Of course they do. We also have bacteria in our mouths. Mouthwash is actually extremely bad for our health, our mouth health. It will deteriorate your teeth. So be very careful, especially in the wild, because they are, you know, used to consuming rotten meat and all sorts of, they are charognards. They are what's it called? Necro feeders. They feed on everything they can find, and they develop naturally, this extremely powerful bacteria in their teeth. So some people can be very sensitive. There was this case I saw once online. This person got licked by a dog in a leg. His immune system, or should I say, his vitality was so low that the bacteria in the tongue of the dog just took over his leg and he had to amputate the leg. Some people are highly sensitive to bacteria. If your vitality is okay, I think everything's okay. Everything balances itself out. But if you're not okay, if you're not balanced, you might get into trouble. Uh, so that's what they call rabies. Yeah, and like Béchamp was saying, everything is about terrain. Everything is the terrain. There's not this invisible thing, that plans to attack you. No, there's no such thing. That's superstition. The ideas of Pasteur, it's almost like a continuation of the old ideas of bad spirits that, just go into people and cause them to be sick. But on materialistic point of view, it has to be something materialistic that you can count and measure. So the so-called thing that you can only see through the microscope and count and measure it, that's the perfect scapegoat, to explain away. But everything is terrain and vitality. So if you staying fit, get fresh air. Do not be afraid of the elements. Do not be afraid of getting dirty. Get away from cities, because that's a cesspool from all sorts. People who live in cities will automatically have a lifespan of 10 to 15 years less than a person that lives in the countryside, just because of the daily pollution they get exposed to. The terrain is everything. Your vitality will drop considerably. So it's raining a lot outside. Temperatures just augmented like 10, 15 degrees, and it started raining. Man. So anyway, I think I'm going to shut up now. Have a nice day.